A New Dark Age, written and read by Jeremy Boggess. Are we on the cusp of another dark age in comparison to where we currently stand? The following does not even include the current strains and situations placed upon the world systems and networks of the economic, environmental, trade, food, and medical distribution, and differing positive and negative separate movements. Nor does it consider the instruction of the younger generations that are currently hampered due to our inability to adjust to the times, of which the lasting effects remain to be seen. Even the argument of what is truth has become a point of debate for many. In this current pandemic, both those that believe that it is real and those that believe that it is a government farce, under the respective governments and regimes, seem to be more adamant about voicing their discontentment. Whether you agree or disagree with certain arguments is not the issue. The fact is, individuals under the control of what some would consider both democratic and non-democratic governments, and those under authoritarian and anti-authoritarian regimes, are experiencing unprecedented stress on their current systems. Civil unrest and distrust from populations in general within existing governments and institutions of all kinds seems to be spreading with more frequency and intensity. This distrust is not only more visible in anti-authoritarian and democratic regimes, but also unusually more visible in more authoritarian and less democratic regimes. Governmental and non-governmental entities of various political systems are beginning to cut off or limit the communicational networks between peoples within and without their borders. They are doing this out of the fear of what they personally define as civil unrest, schisms, or insurrections. Under the justification of preventing general schisms, civil unrest, insurrection, or treason, many are limiting, censoring, or barring various accesses to communicational networks. These various limitations are not isolated to one location or point of view in the world. The results of this slippery slope are already beginning to appear. The same justification by dictionary definition used by the more democratic and less authoritarian nations and regimes to prevent civil unrest are being used by less non-democratic and more authoritarian nations and regimes. Of course, these justifications are not in the same spirit. Some authoritarian regimes are even making what would appear to be bold moves to expand or solidify their current power. Or these current extreme measures being enacted could even be attributed to simply maintaining their current power and influence amidst this seemingly period of chaos. Barriers to communications from various sides is just one of the latest tools utilized by those wishing to remain in power, their opposition, extremists on all sides, as well as those on all sides wishing to avoid chaos. Communicational networks, both denouncing and promoting different agendas, are being censored or eliminated with many national, international, and spectrums. These actions are not limited to a type of nation, country, particular continent, or what the dissenting population subscribes to. These limitations are even extended outside the immediate scope of politics. Populations from a variety of differing and various regimes and governments that are less authoritarian, more accountable to the will of the people, and less accountable to the will of the people, seem to be selecting and cutting off modes and avenues of communications. Not only are they attempting to cut off communicational networks of their populace from outside their geographical location, but also their populace from each other within their geographical location. In this moment of global crisis that we are experiencing, it seems to me that these situations are isolating and making us more competitively aggressive and suspicious of each other, rather than bringing us more cooperative with one another. It appears to me that nations, cultures, and long-held institutions are not only experiencing increased and more frequent divisions, but also strengthened schisms. Populations on all sides are becoming more vocal. Different polarizations of differing views and opinions seem to be growing rather than receding, as well as becoming more actively reactionary. Extremists of many sides and of many opinions seem to be growing in numbers, becoming more hardened and or more entrenched with more stringent followers. And those splintered groups that have been thwarted, both for and against all of the many arguments, are regrouping. Extremism and separatism, for the good or bad, depending on your point of view, seem to be emboldened and making more of a significant foothold in societies throughout the world.